as a lifelong fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've seen the various highs and lows that the group has gone through for, over 20 years. And the recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that came out in 2014 has to easily be the most disappointing thing I saw last year. And the first thing I want to address is the fact that I'm not like, I'm not a rabid fanboy who feels that just because the movies changed something about some of the characters or the origin story, that instantly invalidates the movie. I'm not so naive that I believe that stories have to remain entrenched in some sort of canonized format that can't be altered in any way. I'm fully aware of the fact that every version of TMNT has to be an adaptation, so things inevitably have to be changed, and that's fine. Because even though the opportunity for the creative team to mess it all up can happen, and I think that's what happened in this case, it also gives them a chance to make something that's even better or different in a good way. But in this case, unfortunately, we didn't get that. We got an awfully misguided movie that lacks the heart and soul that keeps people coming back to TMNT time and time again. So as of the time of this recording, the original 1990 Ninja Turtles movie was just pulled off of Netflix. With any luck, it'll be back soon. Part 2 is still up there if you haven't seen that in a while, but it's just that's a whole nother beast. Now, what the original movie did was it was a miraculous job of just taking a really silly concept of giant walking turtles that are also ninjas who are full of tood and make it an entertaining action film that was full of energy and care. This is, I think, in large part due to the reliance on practical effects that were necessary at the time. But that's just me. I mean, the new TMNT film uses just pure CGI. Not pure CGI, but it uses motion captured effects that, although impressive for like right now, they will look dated in a few years when technology makes another leap forward. It happens. When you factor in the bombastic nature of Michael Bay's action films and add to that the overly complicated character designs, it's a recipe for visual exhaustion. There's a trope that a lot of characters fall into from 90s comic books, and that's an overabundance of visual accessories that don't equate to actually having any character. Like seriously, these four are supposed to be ninjas, masters of shadow. They are all over 6 feet tall in this movie. They are ripped beyond belief, and they're carrying around tons of trinkets and baubles and accessories that would just make stealth impossible. One look at Donatello's outfit. He's like wearing keyboards as armor, and if you've moved a keyboard from one desk to another, you know the kind of sound they make. They rattle. It's ridiculous. There's so much going on with them that the simplicity of what is at least characterized as a ninja in popular Western media is, like the black outfit, so you can't see them when they're in the shadow, but the whole concept is that they blend in. You don't see them. And we're talking about 6 feet tall. Like, come on. It's worse yet is the fact that the Ninja Turtles are side characters in their own movie. They don't really appear until about 45 minutes into the film. And most of the major fight scenes are resolved by April O'Neil instead. Not only do we get to lose that kind of sense of familial identity that those four have together, or 5 if you want to count Master Splinter as well, we also lose what makes the Shredder and the Foot Clan so special too. For those of you that aren't reading the comic book that started back in 2012 from IDW Publishing, I really recommend it. There's a mini-series that's about the origin of the Foot Clan, and it's a phenomenal glimpse into how silly something like they're basically ninjas who wear purple and use a footprint as their clan symbol, and this can be taken seriously with good writing. It can be given the character development it deserves. The Shredder's motivation in this movie to take over New York, as well as his rivalry against the Splinter and the Turtles, was not really well thought out in any way. But it's something that could be given depth and emotion, like it's handled in the comic book. In the movie, the sole motivation for the Shredder's action are money, basically. The ninjas, the Foot Clan ninjas, get replaced by machine gun toting terrorists, basically. They all wear balaclavas and vests full of ammunition, and run around with machine guns, and then we have these giant monsters who pummel them all into submission. It goes against like the very spirit of TMNT, and it just gets as far from relatable as possible. And I'm talking about the relatability of walking turtles that use slang and fight crime with martial arts. Yes, they can be relatable. And this movie just, it really removes what made the Foot Clan something so memorable. And it really just turns them into just, I guess, modern day mercenaries, like a private military corporation. These guys could work for anyone. They could work for any Bond villain. They could work for any number of just generic henchmen, and they don't have the personality that makes them the Foot Clan. They're just putties with machine guns. They're useless. Not to mention the fact that the turtles are just giant hulking beasts now that are essentially bulletproof. The amount of times you see bullets ricochet off their turtle shells goes to show you that these guys aren't ninjas. They're just giant monsters who are really good at pummeling on people. It's bizarre. It's not what Ninja Turtles has been for so long. Now, one of the only things that this new Ninja Turtles movie did that set it apart from the others was it showed Master Splinter engaging in a fight scene. But unfortunately, in terms of the rest of the movie, I don't feel this character came off as being particularly wise, especially not compared to the proverbs or regrets that he shows in the current comic book, or even the current animated 3D animated show that's on Nickelodeon right now. Splinter seems 10 times more wise and like learned in those portrayals of the character than he does in this movie. Now, and getting back to the relatability of it all, what makes Ninja Turtles something people can relate to is, at its very core, family. The Turtles struggle through getting along like members of any family would. Growing up, I could see how the relationship between me and my older brother was like the one between Leonardo and Raphael, how they would always be fighting. Or the relationship between my sister and I being like Michelangelo and Donatello. They would have similar nerdy interests and they would kind of get along on those things. Tragically, the movie took the lazy route and told us how these interactions are established instead of showing us during the reveal on the rooftop where April O'Neil finally runs to the top of a building and catches them like celebrating their victory. We see Leo and Raph getting into a shoving match, and one of the turtles remarks off the side, says, you two stop fighting, you're fighting all the time. And the audience is being told of a history with them without it being shown. And it's failing what cinema can do, and it's show not tell. And they just didn't do that. In the original 1990 film, the entire movie is kicked off by Raph losing his sai in the opening scenes where the turtles rescue April, all without being seen. You know, like ninjas. It's established that through his behavior, Raph is the hothead of the group, but he and Leo don't have any sincere animosity towards each other. Raph, puts on his costume, his trench coat and fedora costume, and he goes out to see a movie, and Leo asks, where are you headed? And Raph says, I'm out to see a movie. That okay with you? Leo doesn't mind either way. He's like, okay, do what you want. It's not until later when, Raph's lost sai is the ultimate reason that Splinter gets kidnapped. And then we see the rage building in Raphael, and he doesn't take it from anybody. He's just out to he's pissed off at himself and he wants revenge for his own mistake. But that is earned and it's justified. In the 2014 reboot, we're just told Raph has roid rage from the start, and it's never really questioned or rationalized in any way, really. It's just, I don't know. It was really disappointing. So I was fully prepared to give this film a fair chance to stand on its own two turtle feet, but with the mess that it turned out to be, I can't help but look at the original film to highlight how this movie has been done right before. The new TMNT could have been something incredible, but its utterly misguided approach to entertainment has left behind something that is entirely forgettable and for fans completely insulting. So, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like comparing the original Judge Dredd movie from the 90s to the remake Dredd from, I think, 2012. It's the first instance they didn't get it right, and then they nailed it the second time around. And in this case, it's the inverse. They nailed it the first time around, had a bunch of sequels, you know, it had time to be a part of the, you know, pop culture, and now it's just been turned into this thing that has been completely misunderstood by its creators. And it's really unfortunate when you see how TMNT's never really gone away. If you're a fan, there's always been a cartoon. There's always been some form of, you know, Ninja Turtles that have been there with you, that have been some getting it way more right than others, but when it's right, it's really right. This current comic from 2012, the 3D animated show that's running right now, they're fantastic portrayals of what makes the Turtles so likable and relatable. And they're not hulking beasts, they're teenagers, they're awkward. They want to do the right thing, but they don't know quite how to do that. You know, struggling to be accepted in a world that doesn't know they exist. It's you know, what are you gonna do? They're walking turtles. They want to use slang. And turning Michelangelo, yeah, he can't say cowabunga anymore. So, you know, he should have said it the first time. But even then, now they just turn him into like a weird, inappropriate sex machine joke character that he's just always trying to get laid with April, and it's really uncomfortable. Like, if you've seen a turtle erection online, they're horrifying. I'm getting off point. Look, the real message that I'm trying to get away with here is that to the 2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I declare you have let down my expect. Now, in the background here is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game for Nintendo from a long time ago by Ultra, which I now know to be Konami. They just had to make a extra company to release the game. Anyways, this is, I figured since I reached this part in my playthrough, I might as well include it. This is the infamous underwater stage that happens after, I think, level 2 or something like that. And this is one of those games that just destroys people. It's relentlessly difficult. You only get one shot. You can switch between characters, but once you're done switching between all of them and using all of their health up, it's pretty much game over. You can get them back, but it's not gonna be easy, let me tell you. So I've been practicing this game, and I've gotten better at. You can't tell by looking, but I was just playing this for to get footage for this rant, and I've been getting better at completing the underwater stage, but I can't really pull it off with a lot of health for each of my turtles. On a good day, I can pretty much sacrifice one turtle to do this whole thing, but this time around, it's been a while and I forgot where all the bombs were, and you have to go through this dam and deactivate all these bombs before you know, it blows up and takes out the bridge. You gotta save everybody in turtle fashion. Everything in here hurts you. There's no getting your health back. There's currents that push you and make it difficult to swim, and there's no indicator for them. You just good luck figuring it out. Sometimes you'll just get pushed see that there? It's pulling me to the right. So trying to stand still and wait for those things, I was just getting frustrated. I was like, you know what? We'll do it live. Fudge it. We'll do it live. I'm down to Donatello here, and I'm just trying to work my way through, and I just can't. I'm figuring, you know what? I'll just take the hits. We'll go. Time's against me. I had, 50 seconds left. So with any luck, Donatello here, who I've saved for the end because he's got the best weapon, but he's pretty much the last turtle. If you can see, anytime I hit pause, the turtles that I tag out have virtually no health left, and if they get hit, the entire stage is gonna reset. So I have to pretty much do this in one shot. The whole game is like that. You have to do each level kind of in one shot. If you die, you start back from the beginning. See the current? Look at the current pushing me back. Fucking bullshit. It's a whole lot of bollocks, and this whole game, with a few tweaks, if they just gave you some continues, just made health a little easier to get, it's not that bad a game. It's just they made some poor choices in the design stages that made it really fucking difficult. But it is kind of one of those games that I play. It punished me as a kid. I could never, ever get past this. 10, 9, I'll make it. I'll be fine. One of those games that as a kid I just could never, ever beat. Now that I'm considerably older and have better things I should be doing with my time, okay, I can at least get past the damn stage. As you can see, all my turtles have one bar of health down there. It's not gonna go well April's telling me, good job, the dam is safe, let's go home. There he is, Donatello's walking. He says he's here, and he opens the door, and what do you know? Somebody was partying pretty hard. Looks like Andrew WK was in here. Oh no, and the TV turns on. They've taken Master Splinter, and as you can see, Shredder uses his ninja magic to put his hand through the television and tells the turtles to listen to him. What he doesn't realize is the turtles are all down to 1 health bar each. Had he just waited there after the dam, he could have slapped them all stupid because they don't have any health bars left. So thanks for sticking around and having a bit of a listen. It's been, 15 minutes, and with any luck, this wasn't completely boring for you guys. I'm glad you guys stuck around. What does April say? Let's go and help Splinter. Look at us. Not a single one of us have any health. What are we gonna do? We're gonna be turtles, and bam, you get the turtle van. That was one of the great things about this game. It really did let you feel like you had a bit of control over what was going on. And unfortunately, the turtle van shares the health of my turtle that's in there, so I only have 1 bar of health still. Let's check out what's in this building. Well, as you can see, in classic Ninja Turtle fashion, ton of stuff. Alright, thanks for sticking around, guys. With any luck, I'll be talking more about some movies if I can find some old dinky gameplay footage to put it over. Thanks for sticking around. If you saw the TMNT movie yourself, let me know what you think in the comments below. I was just completely disappointed, devastated to see how it turned out. That's pretty obvious by now, but just watch the original 1990 movie. It will put a much, much better taste in your mouth. Highly recommend you guys check out the 2012 comic book that came back out. Fantastic show. For those of you with little ones, check out the animated cartoon. You might enjoy watching it with people. And that's it for me. Spooky Donkey 42. I'll catch you guys later.